Hello again, everyone. Marcus here. I review stuff today. I'm reviewing the song "Walking in My Shoes" by Depeche Mode. As usual, the song comes to you as a request from one of my viewers. So if you'd like to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure to add it to my list. So at this point, I've heard a few songs from Depeche Mode here on the channel. Enjoy the Silence, Halo. It's No Good. Those three, I think, are probably my three favorite that I've heard so far on the channel. And they've definitely entered kind of my heavy regular rotation of songs. And before this, I'd heard like Personal Jesus and like maybe one of the songs from them. I'm blanking on a name though, so maybe not. But regardless, I've really enjoyed what I've heard from Depeche Mode, and so I knew I wanted to kind of get back to them sooner rather than later. Although it's been a while, so hey, but not every artist gets multiple songs on the channel. There's just so much music out there. That it can be hard to get to. So glad to be getting them back to them again today, and thank you so much for the person who requested it. Let's go ahead and jump in. Again, Walking in My Shoes, Depeche Mode. Here we go.
Say about the things that put me through, the pain I've been subjected to, but the Lord himself would blush. The countless feasts laid at my feet, forbidden fruits for me to eat, but I think your pulse would start to rush. Now I'm not looking for absolution, forgiveness for the things I do. But before you come to any conclusion, try walking in my shoes. Try walking in my shoes. You stumble in my footsteps. Keep the same appointments I get. If you try walking in my shoes, if you try walking in my shoes. Morality would frown upon, decency look down upon. The scapegoat fate's made of me. But I promise now, the judge and jurors, my intentions couldn't have been purer. My case is easy to see. I'm not looking for a clearer conscience, peace of mind after what I've been through. And before we talk of any repentance, try walking in my shoes. Try walking in my shoes. You stumble in my footsteps. Keep the same appointments I get. If you try walking in my shoes, if you try walking in my shoes, try walking in my shoes.
Another good one from Depeche Mode, if I do say so myself. Yeah, this was quite enjoyable. I like it down from the lyrics all the way up to the instrumentation, the vocals, everything. I thought really worked for me here. So I say we break it down like we always do. Of course, starting with those lyrics. And so let's take a look. Um, so I would tell you about the things they put me through, the pain I've been subjected to, but the Lord himself would blush, the countless feasts laid at my feet, forbidden fruits for me to eat, but I think your pulse would start to rush. Essentially, like, I've been put through hell, right? Like, I've experienced all the things, all the hardships. My life is difficult, right? The pain I've been subjected to but the Lord himself would blush, right? Um, Now, I'm not looking for absolution, forgiveness for the things I do, but before you come to any conclusions, try walking in my shoes, try walking in my shoes, right? So, like, their life is hard, their life is difficult, a lot of pain, suffering, etc. But then, like, the things they have to do in response to that, they get judged for, right? And so that's what he's saying. Like, I'm not necessarily looking for forgiveness for the things that I do, and can't judge me until you've, like, essentially walked a mile in my shoes, right? So um, you'll stumble in my footsteps. Keep the same appointments I kept. If you try walking in my shoes, if you try walking in my shoes, and there it is. I mean, I think he's saying, like, my life is so hard, so challenging, etc. The things that I have to do just to live my life. If you try to do those things, you would stumble and fall, right? You wouldn't be able to handle it. And then he says the same here. Like, if you essentially um, walked in my shoes, if you experienced the same thing I did, you'd likely do the same things I did. And I think that's what he means by keep the same appointments, right? Like, if you were in my shoes, you'd probably do the same thing that I did, right? Whatever it is that he's referencing. Um, Morality would frown upon, decency look down upon, the scapegoat fate's made of me. But I promise now, my judge and jurors, my intentions couldn't have been purer. My case is easy to see. I'm not looking for a clearer conscience, peace of mind after what I've been through, and before we talk of any repentance, try walking in my shoes, try walking in my shoes. So yeah, again, like, he's committed a crime or done something necessarily kind of bad, right? But again, out of necessity. I think is kind of what he's getting at. And again, if you were in my position, you would have likely done the same thing, right? You'll stumble in my footsteps. Keep the same appointments I kept. If you try walking in my shoes, if you try walking in my shoes, try walking in my shoes. Now I'm not looking for absolution, forgiveness for the things I do, but before you come to any conclusions, try walking in my shoes. Try walking in my shoes. You'll stumble in my footsteps. Footsteps. Keep the same appointments I kept. If you try walking in my shoes, kind of repeats that a couple more times there. Oh, there's an unreviewed song bio. I do want to read this, see if it gives me any more insight into what he's talking about specifically. Walking in My Shoes was released as the second single from Depeche Mode's 8th studio album, Songs of Faith and Devotion, on the 26th of April 1993. It reached position 1 in the US Billboard Modern Rock Tracks and 14 in the UK Singles Chart. So, hey, pretty big release. This song is about redemption, forgiveness, and understanding mistakes that people are doing. Okay, I mean, I gathered that much about it, right? So, yeah, I think lyrically, it's got a nice little message. I think it's vague enough that it can apply to most people, right? Like, obviously he talks about, judge, jury, crimes, absolution, forgiveness, etc., etc., etc. And although he makes it sound super serious, right? I think a lot of people can relate to that. Essentially, the idea of, like, you can't judge me and my actions until you've kind of walked a mile in my shoes, until you really see it from my perspective. And if you could see it from my perspective, there's a chance that you would have made the same mistakes and the same decisions as well, right? So, highly, I think, relatable piece of lyricism there. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I thought it was really well written. As far as the instrumentation and vocals go, I don't know who sings here. I guess it had on the lyrics a few different names, Dave Gann and Martin Gore. I like what they do here vocally. One thing I always notice about, like, a lot of artists, especially like English artists, is that they sort of not necessarily lose their accent. I remember looking it up one time or talking about it with someone, and essentially when you are trained to sing, the way you're trained to enunciate notes sort of you sort of lose the accent in that enunciation a lot of the time. So it's not that they necessarily lose their accent; they're just, they're trained professionals essentially, and the way that they're trained sort of pushes that accent backwards. But what I like about Depeche Mode is that that accent, I feel like, is still there, and you really get it. And I think it makes it sound that much more unique. But on top of that, instrumentally, this one was interesting. There's some record scratches in there, of course, some industrial sounds. And I think overall it made for just a very, I don't want to necessarily say fun, because it was sort of a darker song, but it was a very easy song to kind of groove out to and enjoy. And one thing that Depeche Mode does is, take very dark themes, dark lyricism, and make them kind of, again, like fun sort of to listen to, right? At least entertaining and interesting to listen to. So I really appreciated that about the vocals and the instrumental performance. So that's getting two big thumbs up from me as well. With all that said, I liked this song a lot, but it so far hasn't exactly hit the same peaks as, again, some of those Depeche Mode songs I mentioned at the start of the video. Enjoy the Silence, Halo, It's No Good, Hey, Even People Are People, even Personal Jesus. Like, to me, those are really like up here. This one's like here. But what I will say is that typically with Depeche Mode, I enjoy their songs more when I've had a chance to come back to them. So, like, I really enjoyed Halo the first time I heard it here on the channel. I really enjoyed It's No Good the first time I heard it here on the channel. But it wasn't until I started kind of coming back to it, right? Listening to it, giving a second, third, fourth listen, I was like, okay, it went from here to up here. So that there's a good chance that this song might also kind of move as I listen to it some more. With that said, as it stands right now, it's definitely going to make the playlist, and I'm excited to listen to it again. But again, not yet one of the stronger Depeche Mode songs for me. So I'm just going to give it a thumb up for replay value overall. Overall, a fantastic song and a fantastic request. Thank you so much again for the person who requested this one. As always, if you want to get your song reviewed, just do what they did. Leave those requests in the comments. And then, of course, if you enjoyed the music as much as I did, go support the artists. Go listen to their music wherever you can. And if you're looking for other ways to support me and my channel, just, do all the normal stuff you do on YouTube. Like and subscribe and comment with those requests, as I mentioned. And then you can also check the description if you'd like to follow me on Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram. Alright guys, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.